Welcome to the Todd DeVoe Show, exploring the best ideas and lessons for leaders.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. I am not Todd DeVoe. I am Daniel Scott. I am joining Todd DeVoe today on his show. He will not be speaking a whole lot today because his voice is still giving him quite a bit of trouble. He is actually surprised that he's joining me today. I initially thought I was going to be solo as strictly as a guest host. So it was very, for me, it was ultimately a pleasure to see that he's here with me today. And I can actually say, I hope you feel better. I'm glad you're feeling better because you sound a whole lot better than you did. For those who are listening or watching, Todd will not be talking a whole lot, but he will, as if he has a question or if he wants to prompt me in any way, he might chime in. But today he's actually given me the pleasure to come on and actually talk about something that I'm doing, some of the avenues I'm going down, and how it is better, how I'm trying to be of better service to you and to really drive leadership and in the emergency management profession, but ultimately overall leadership in general. I feel is an area in which I'm very passionate about myself, but I feel it's an area in which others would ultimately benefit from incorporating into their daily practices. So I thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Please, in the comments, it would be great to hear from you, as far as especially letting Todd know that you're thinking about him and that you're hoping he's getting better. But for me, if you have questions, it would be great that you throw them in there. Some of the regular watchers and listeners of Todd's program, I know, are going to participate in the summit, which to me, I'm very thankful for that. And I'm very excited to ultimately, in the end, be able to bring this program and these speakers to you. But ultimately, at the end of it, I'd like to get your feedback. I'd like to hear what you thought about the summit, ways that potentially you think I could improve upon the summit. I will actually be conducting a small after-action review of the summit in spirit of leadership, but also in emergency management. And I feel that would be something that would be great to just kind of do a recap of the summit and ways that we can improve and the services that ultimately I want to provide to you, the person that I am and the people that I'm going to be serving. So I'm going to give you a quick little background on me, and then what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and then what I intend to do moving forward. So me and Todd have actually been working together now, back and forth on podcasts and other projects for multiple years now. I think it's been going on 3 years that we've actually started working together. Me and Todd actually connected about 5 years ago, just at a conference he was at, and we just kind of touched bases. But then we connected at the Emergency Management Professionals Program Executive Academy, where we actually not only became friends, but became partners in our contribution to emergency management and leadership and its applications. Over the last couple of years, what me and Todd have done is trying to bring you more content, more value, and more resources to develop you as an individual, but also develop the profession in which we may reside, whether that is emergency management or something else. The summits in which I'm bringing forward, so it's the 2022 Summer Fall Emergency Management Leadership Summit, and I'm naming it that intentionally because I intend to bring these summits to you on a more regular basis. They will be quarterly, so I will be doing 4 summits a year, and they will come to you in some type of form, whether or not I'm going to go with a quarterly, or I'm going to go with a seasonal, however it's going to be, but they're going to be brought to you on a regular basis. And my intent there is to bring you a level of content from speakers that really can contribute to you as a person, but also a professional in how we contribute and bring what it is that we do every day to the world. Okay, so now the Emergency Management Leadership Summit, the guests that are featured are amazing. Todd actually is a featured guest there. I have a featurette as well, where I talk about leadership, and it was actually something that, like I said, I'm very passionate about. We actually have some very notable individuals that you will hear from in this summit, and the thoughts and the opinions and the direction of service that they are providing is amazing. And I say that without boasting, trying to get you to go and sign up for the summit, which I hope you do. It's that the level of the service and the hearts of service that these speakers that are coming to you with their ideas and their thoughts and their ultimately their service for you is to make you better and to make the profession better. And we have former FEMA administrator Pete Gaynor is one of the featured speakers, and his ideas on avoiding the status quo and how we can step higher into leadership and how we can take advantage of the situations that we're expressed with is truly amazing, and it's worth at the very minimal listening just to that segment. I mean, I have 20 plus, and I'm right now we've added new speakers, which is amazing. So we're up to 24 speakers that are going to be featured at the summit and throughout the 3 days in which it will be released. It will be released August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Each day there will be an email featuring that day's link. That link will take you to a full day of speakers and other content that will be available to you for to watch, listen to, even download, or websites and links that you could go visit and get a better understanding of services that are available to you that you may not have that knew that was there. So, Todd, do you have something to chime in about real quick?
Dan, I just appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate the summit, and I'm honored to be part of that panel because there are some fantastic speakers that are on that panel, and to be, on the same stage, if you will, as those, it's definitely an honor. You've done a great job putting together the speakers and the content, and I'm really proud of what you've been doing, and I appreciate everything that you've been doing. And I appreciate you taking over the role today because otherwise I'd be coughing in all your ears. Hey, everybody, just let you know, the COVID is not a it's not a joke. Not necessarily gonna, I mean, it's not life-threatening by any means, but definitely does disrupt your life for sure. So avoid it at all cost.
Yeah, and I'm sorry you're having to deal with this. I know it seems to be a little bit of a resurgence going on. And the different variants, and there's actually something out there right now, just so everybody's aware, that's not COVID, that's pretty bad, that I actually got about a month and a half ago, and it stayed with me for several weeks. So, but I took a test of the COVID every other day, and it was not, I didn't have COVID, thankfully, but it was still pretty bad. So the fact that you're going through this, it's still not something that I would wish on anybody. So, but thank you for those words. I truly appreciate that. And, ultimately for everybody who is listening, and yeah, monkeypox is out there too. I mean, that's a new thing that showed itself, that has been found and is just causing some concern in the community. But back to the summit, I appreciate the thoughts and the you contributing some of that to me. But ultimately, I just want to let everybody know who's listening and watching that Todd's played a big role in where I've kind of the direction in which I've taken over the last couple of years and where I intend to go as a mentor of mine, and ultimately helping me get into this type of work to be able to serve and offer my insights, thoughts, opinions, whether they're valued or not, at this level. And my goal is to continue doing that at a much higher level. But as I said, with the intent to be of service to you and to bring content and resources to you as a practitioner, whether or just a professional in general, whether you're in the academic place of work, or if you're in the practitioner place of work, or you work in both, or you're just thinking about getting in contributing to the field, or in general leadership. Leadership is for me, like I said, I'm very passionate about, but I think it's one of those things that it's a skill that is learned, that is honed, and that you get better at. And the more we practice it, the better we become. And especially as it relates to how we do our jobs in emergency management, which is where I've spent the last 15 years, we need to be able to apply leadership, which is influence, and build trust in our communities and what we do every day. And how to do that is by learning how to do it in a way that we can lead and influence and build trust in communities. And we can do that by practicing it. And go back to the speakers a little bit, I want to mention some of the speakers that are going to be in this summit. And if you haven't signed up already, I really encourage you to sign up. It is, even though the process has been very time consuming, it's been a little tedious. We're still experiencing some hiccups. Ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm developing and moving and pivoting my career to basically where I am of service to you. And that's what I do in my business that I'm opening up. And this is what this is. I'm starting a business of being able to bring content and resources to you, to the people that I used to be. Basically, I still am in a large facet, but my goal is to switch to be more of a service to you. And in doing that is bringing you these summits, and there's going to be a lot more that comes along with it as well. I'm not just going to be doing summits; I'm going to be doing other things as well. But the summits is a big part of what I'm going to be doing, and the speakers that are there. I just want to kind of mention some of them. So we already talked about Pete Gaynor, which is he's a very influential person in emergency management. He's a leader as in the community that we serve. He's a leader in general, and to be able to have him part of the summit, but also hear the things that he's doing and what he's contributing to the profession currently and what he's doing, but also the steps that he took when he was actually working for FEMA as the administrator at that type of level as well, and then how we can learn from him in what he does. But also we have Andrea Davis, who for most of you who know, she has a road working mainly in the private sector, but the private sector at very high levels. I mean, she worked for the global corporation of Disney. She was the global crisis manager, where she actually worked in crisis management throughout all their operations in the globe, and then through Walmart, the same type of function at that level. So to be able to hear from someone at her level, and then the steps she took to get to that level, and knowing that you could do it as well is huge. So she's actually going to be featured in my podcast during the practice, but also in the summit, which is amazing. Lorraine Schneider. For those who don't know Lorraine Schneider, she is a up and comer. She's going to do some great things within the industry, but she's already done so much. And she worked for UCLA. She worked for Disney. Now she is working for Andrea Davis at the Resiliency Initiative, a business that they created and are running together. She's the executive director there, and they're going to do some amazing things. And to know what they're doing and how they're doing it is amazing. It's also important to note that with Todd being featured in this, it also features the Emergency Management Network and what we're doing in the Emergency Management Network, and the newsletters and the podcast that ultimately comes to you by Todd is presented by the Emergency Management Network, and then all the things that are going to be contributing. Me and Todd are partnering in our efforts, so you're going to be hearing a lot from both of us moving forward in the summits and the network. The podcasts are featured both there. The Todd Show is featured there. The Theory into Practice is featured there. So you're going to hear a lot more from us, but also we're going to be bringing you a lot more content and a lot more resources to be utilized within the content that is provided. So amazing there. We have Jerica Shackelford, which I love her name, from the Homeland Security, from the DC Homeland Security Emergency Management Office, and the level of work she does and the time in which she's done it, and the level of mentorship that she provides, and the stuff you can learn from her is amazing. And we have, who else we got? We got Kathy Francis from the Mid-Atlantic Emergency Management Public Safety group, and we talk about her leadership. We also talk about the program in which she represents and how it contributes to the profession of emergency management. We have Eric McNulty, the co-author of You're It, to the meta leadership book, and how it applies to just leadership in general, but emergency management and how we can better apply that. We have Dr. Andrea Adams to talk about all the work that she's done as it results to ethics in the field of practice of leadership, emergency management, and in FEMA and our special interest group developing a professional code of ethics. And my sponsors for this, actually the summit, has been amazing. I'm actually getting some great sponsorship interest still, but for the sponsors for this particular summit, we have Javari WebEOC, which is amazing. I've actually used WebEOC in multiple organizations which I've served, and it's a software program that you can do a lot with. And the fact that they have taken an interest in what I'm doing and sponsored this event was a great honor of mine. We have Koali Ready, which is also a software program, but it helps with establishing continuity in your programs. Usually it's developed from the higher education and putting that into colleges and institutions of higher education, is moving into school districts. And then, of course, the Emergency Management Network, which is by myself and Todd DeVoe, in establishing just more in what we do and credibility, and bringing more content and resources to you. So the Emergency Management Network, if you're not, also if you're not a member of the Emergency Management Network Facebook page group. Take advantage of that. Join that group. We're in there. I've actually established an event for the Leadership Summit in that group as well that you could at least go in there and sign up for and be a part of, knowing that also a large part of the Emergency Management Network newsletter is brought to you by Substack, which we utilize quite often. So also, you're going to hear from the Resiliency Initiative from Andrea Davis and Lorraine Schneider, and the stuff that they're doing and how that contributes to the profession and what they can do. We also are going to hear from Dr. Shirley Feldman Jensen and Dr. Sandy Smith. They're going to come. They actually do a presentation on the steps that we went through in developing the professional code of conduct for emergency management professionals, which myself and Todd actually sat on that committee as well. But the presentation they give on the steps that we've taken, the steps we intend to take, and the things that are coming in the future is definitely worth a watch all in itself. So if you just caught that particular segment, you would feel it was worth the summit in general. And then I'm actually featuring a comedian, Jordan Wood. He's a comedian, very funny individual. Has allowed me to be able to feature him in the summit. So as a little side gift for you as the viewer, you get to see a little bit of stand-up routine from Jordan Wood as well throughout a couple of the days, and it's definitely worth the watch. He's a very funny individual, and it was actually a pleasure of mine to be able to promote him in this event. This has nothing to do with emergency management. It brings some levity to what it is we do every day, and we, as emergency management practitioners, emergency responders, very high stress field. It's good to laugh every once in a while, and I wanted to bring that to you to give you just a little bit of a laugh during these during the summit days, to just bring some levity and some allow you to laughter is ultimately itself is a nice stress reliever, and I wanted to be able to give that to you as well in that form. And I look forward to being able to do that in the future as well. Actually, at one of my live events, I've already booked Jordan Wood as a comedian to be the MC of the event. So you'll hear more about that actually next week after the summit, because I'll be dropping more information on that. But he's going to be MCing one of my event, and from a comedian, and he's a very impromptu comedian as well. He's very funny in the moment, so it'd be great to see what he brings to the table. I'm also got to talk to Isamar Garcia, which, if you don't know, we featured her on different podcasts that we've been a host of. She was anyway an aspiring emergency manager. She says she's still an aspiring emergency manager, but she works very heavily in emergency management in the volunteer capacity, and the steps she took and the amount of volunteering that she does and did and does still is really awe-inspiring. And as a public servant in general, if you're not volunteering at some level, I highly encourage you to do that. But to hear her talk and to hear how that helped her get into landing a job and working in emergency management, and all the stuff she still wants to do, but all the ways she still contributes as a volunteer is it's really awe-inspiring. It's also a little humbling to be someone to watch somebody volunteer at that level.
Dan,
and I don't want to name every single person, but just come to the summit, sign up for it. It's amazing. The link will be in the show notes. It will be shared multiple times. You will not regret it. I guarantee it, and I don't guarantee a lot. So, Dan or Todd, yes, you had a question for Dan.
Well, two things. One is Eastmore is also the host of the IEM Region 9 podcast called Region Talks. So she's the co-host. Her Jackie do that, and it's one you want to catch if you work in Region 9. That's what you want to do. And then, what really drove you to do this summit?
Ultimately for me, what drove me to do is I just want to bring a higher visibility in emergency management. And in order to do that, we have to learn from those who are really visible in emergency management. We also I think I don't necessarily think it's an opinion. It is an opinion of mine, but I think it's actually a factual statement to say we need to become marketers in what we do every day as emergency managers, as professionals, as leaders. And leadership and emergency management are not supposed to be reactive. They are very proactive, engaging tools and skills that you have to be able to utilize. And for me, it's being proactive and stepping into a more of a leadership role to bring and be of service to those that I want to serve and ultimately encourage and lead to be better individuals in the field of emergency management and leadership. I am a person of service. I've always been a person of service. People don't usually get into public works or public safety or emergency management for selfish reasons. They usually get into it for very because they have a caring heart, they have a servant heart, and that falls to me. I'm a protector. That's what I've always been, a protector. That's one of the reasons why I grew up wanting to be in law enforcement, is because I'm a protector. I'm still a protector, and I want to protect the emergency management professional. I want to protect the leadership professional, and I want to protect the profession, and I want to nurture the profession. And you'll hear me say it multiple times throughout the summit, is that, we hear this, and I think it's honestly becoming a little bit of an excuse now, is that we are still relatively young as a profession, and I contribute it too. If you're a Star Wars fan and you watch Mandalorian, which I am, Baby Yoda is 50, but he still looks like a baby. All right, but we still got to start getting into toddlerhood. We got to start walking. We got to start stumbling. We got to start falling down, scraping knees, and getting back up and moving forward. And you don't do that until you start trying to get up and walk. And we need to start walking. We need to move out of infancy and into toddlerhood. And I think we can do that by promoting it more and being better marketers. And I think we're not very good at that. And I think one of the things that really contributed to my desire to do this was COVID. I mean, COVID, it brought so much bad with it, but it also brought a lot of good and opportunity for emergency management. And we need to take advantage of the opportunities that we're given, whether good or bad situation. The situation itself may be bad, but the opportunity that gives you as an emergency manager, as a professional, as a person of service, can be very good. And we need to take advantage of that. And I wanted to bring that idea in the form of this summit, and the contribution that comes from all the speakers that are presented in the summit, and the future of these summits as well. Because like I said, I'm going to bring one every quarter, so 4 a year. And my goal there is to provide more engagement from the community, more opportunity from those who practice it, who want to contribute, who want to share their voice, who want to share their thoughts, who want to share their opinions, to do so. I found that some of the organizations that are out today that hold these conferences, they make it so incredibly difficult to be featured, that I wanted to make it a little easier to say, I'd like to share what I have to offer with the community in which I serve, and allow them to do that.
Dan, one thing I want to kind of point out is people ask a question like, oh, what's the difference between a conference and a summit and, convention and whatever other name you want to put in there. And I think I don't think, and I know the differences between that is summits are really geared towards not training, but sharing and educating emergency managers on what's going on in the field and promoting the field of emergency management. Conferences can do the same thing, but they have a little bit more of the breakout rooms and things like this. This is like if you think of it in the sense of like a TED Talk, one stage, one place, one person speaking, and then not all these different. So I think that's the biggest difference in it. And we really do need to be doing more of these type of events. Trainings are great, right? I mean, you get a little certificate saying that you went through this training. And then you get to move on from this. But here we get to have conversations, and I think that's the critical part about it, is being able to stimulate conversation and walk away maybe sometimes with more questions and answers, and make you go and do a little bit more investigation to what this question means. And I think that's a critical difference between them.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up too. And the idea of this too is to make it more accessible to the individual. Sometimes with conferences and workshops, you're unable to attend due to its timing, or its cost, or just ultimately you're only allowed to do so many things a year via your organization, and it just may fall outside of that. But this, to be able to come to you in this form as a virtual summit, is more informational and resource providing, but it also is thought provoking, and a level of networking and collaboration that takes place. That ultimately, and me, I'm all about that, and I collect resources, I collect information, I collect people. I'm not only a collector, but I'm a connector, and to be able to connect the level of these individuals and the people that are here with each other, with the network that we're building, and ultimately the participants as well, to be able to connect them. Because what I am providing is I'm providing information and resources to the person that watches to say, I'd like to connect with this individual. Let me click this button and it'll take you to maybe a LinkedIn page or their website, or sharing where they're sharing their email, so you can connect with them that way. I'm a connector, and that's what this summit is designed to do as well. It's to not only bring you the information and the resources, it's to bring you the level of networking and collaboration, which I think is invaluable. And to be able to bring the level of service to you in doing this is why I'm doing it. It's also why I get up every morning now, and it's a little humbling as well for me, but ultimately putting myself out there a little bit more as well. I'm more of an introverted person, so this is a very intentional and purposeful for me, and I truly love emergency management. I love doing it, and I love practicing it, and I love the people that I meet. I love the people that I get to call friends, mentors, and colleagues. And my goal is to expand that network and to be of better service and bring resources to you. I have so much more that I'm going to drop as it relates to these summits, but also the resources I'm going to make available to those of you who are interested in that. And I'm looking for a very specific person, someone who truly wants to engage, someone who wants to hear from the network, someone who wants to participate in these events and share their knowledge and their opinions and their insights and their experience. If you're someone who does not like to get emails, who does not like to see social media posts come through, who does not like to be invited to everything, then you're probably not the person that wants to be a part of my network, because that's what I'm going to be doing. We need to be more visible, more engaging, more interactive, and I'm going to be doing a lot more as it contributes to how I be of service not only to you, the profession, but the resources in which I provide is going to be huge. And this summit is just really another step in that. I mean, it's not the first step, but it's another step. It's a bigger step. It's more center stage as well, to bring these speakers to you and give them to you as a gift, as a resource to you, but also as a potential connection to build you up. And then some of the thoughts and insights that I have, and how we can just be better professionals, practitioners, educators, and of service to our community. Todd has left us because he's having a little bit of a coughing thing. So Todd, I really hope you feel better, and thank you for allowing me to come on to the show today. I'm going to start wrapping up because we are approaching the half-hour mark, and I want to respect everybody's time. But ultimately, just remember to follow Todd. Sign up for the Emergency Management Network newsletter. A lot of information out of there. You also have access to Todd's podcast. You have access to my podcast. You have access to us as well, to be able to ask questions, engage, interact. Follow us on LinkedIn. Connect with us. Become our network, so you hear from us. Reach out to us, DMs. Reach out to Todd. Reach out to myself to better be of service to you, but also just to make that connection and ultimately build up our networks, our collaboration, and the level of service that we provide. And we can do that by helping each other. Look into the Facebook group. A lot of networking there, a lot of collaboration to join that Facebook group. And we have almost 2,000 individuals that have joined that group. It's an amazing group filled with people who want to be of service, who want to collaborate, who want to network. Go join that group. Follow them on the Emergency Management Network on LinkedIn. You get a lot of information that way as well. We're going to be providing you with a lot more content and resources coming forward in partnership with myself and Todd and several other partners that would contribute to that effort. Also, if you are interested in ultimately being a speaker at the next summit, I'll be doing a call for speakers next week. A lot more information is coming next week. If you haven't already done so, sign up for the summit. Additionally, in the summit, there is a place for you to sign up for the after action review. It's a completely different sign up for those who are interested in coming. I'm going to go live, and I'm just going to do an after action review, and then I am going to drop some teasers on what's coming, so that I can get an idea of what not only what interest you have, but at what level, and then what ideas you potentially have for what you would want to see come in the future. And then I'll wrap up the after action report with, the after action review with some ways you can contact me and get further engaged. But ultimately, this show, I want to circle it back to, this is Todd DeVoe's show. Please follow, like, comment. If you found value in what I offered today, please share it with others who could value from it as well. The links to the summit are in the notes, so take advantage of that. Please subscribe to Todd's show. He brings some valuable content, but he also brings some valuable guests that come on to be able to talk about the things that they're doing and how it promotes you as a professional, but also the field in which they represent. That could be emergency management, it could be leadership, it could be other things that revolve around disaster response. So take a look at that. I want to just finish up by saying I am Daniel Scott. Please follow me on LinkedIn. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. And I look forward to those of you who take advantage of this summit. If you do not take advantage of the summit, I guarantee you will regret it. But I look forward to ultimately catching you at the next one, because I know you'll sign up for that. I am Daniel Scott, and it was a pleasure being a guest host on the Todd DeVoe Show today. Thank you so much. I am out.